Dear students, let us look at kinematic decoupling. Kinematic decoupling is used for solving the inverse kinematic problem. What is the inverse kinematic problem? The inverse kinematic problem can be basically defined as it is written here. That suppose we have a 6 degree of freedom robot manipulator, of which we only know the 4 by 4 transformation matrix. So the homogeneous transformation matrix that connects the base frame and the end effector, which is given by 0t6, is given by this matrix. We know that this matrix can be divided into two parts or two portions. The first portion that we see on the left is a 3 by 3 matrix of elements R11, R12, R13, R21, R22, R23, all the way up to R33. That is written as 0R6. This 0 and 6 is basically taken from the same notation of 0 and 6 of the transformation. And similarly, this portion, the 3 by 1 matrix, which has dx, dy, dz value, is basically written as 0d6. Now, why is this separated out like this is because here this 3 by 3 matrix represents the orientation. So it tells how the NOA axis of the end effector is oriented. That is the orientation matrix. And this 3 by 1 matrix tells about the position. So the orientation and position is already given. And what we need to find is the joint variable. Since there are 6 joints, we will have 6 joint variables, q1, q2, q6, all the way up to q6. Now we all remember, or you should know, that if it's a revolute joint, we generally say that the joint variable is theta, angle theta, because it's a revolute joint. The joint basically has an angular movement. Similarly, if it's a prismatic joint, then we represent it as the distance d. So generally, if you would take any robot, q1, q2 all the way up to q6 will be either some theta or some d value. So when we say that we have an inverse kinematic problem, we are trying to find out this q1, q2 all the way up to q6 using the matrix, which is the 4 by 4 homogeneous transformation matrix of the end effector with respect to the base frame 0. So what is the strategy that we use in kinematic decoupling? As the word decoupling suggests, we decouple two parts from this single transformation matrix for making the problem more simple. What does that mean? It basically means that we divide the inverse kinematic problem into two sub-problems. An inverse position kinematic problem and an inverse orientation kinematic problem. So let me write that statement. In kinematic decoupling, we decouple the inverse kinematic problems into two sub-problems. The first is the inverse position kinematic problem. So let me write it as inverse position kinematic, and the second one is inverse orientation kinematics. So once we decouple into two different set of problems, what happens is that the number of equations to be solved gets reduced. So here we solve for Q1, Q2 and Q3, whereas for this one, when we solve for the wrist portion. That means the wrist basically decides. In a 6 degree of freedom robot, we know that there is an arm having 3 joints and there is a wrist which is the last 3 joints. So the arm will decide, the position of the arm will be decided by Q1, Q2, Q3, and for the orientation part will be decided by the wrist or the 3 joints, the last 3 joints whose variables are Q4, Q5 and Q6. So when we divide when we decouple the inverse kinematic problem, we get it as 2 sub-problems. In the first one, we get Q1, Q2, Q3, and the second one, when we solve, we get Q3, Q5, Q6. And both of this can be decoupled very efficiently so that we are left with these three equations, and we know that for finding out 3 equations is not that much complicated. It is much less complicated than trying to find out 6 unknown values with 6 different equations. So this is what is the gist of the thing. So how do we do it? That is what is to be known. So let us start with this 0T6. That is a problem itself we will take. So we will say that we know that by, so let me write it, we do this by, so how do we do it? We do this by taking 0T6 transformation matrix, which is basically the 4x4 matrix having 0R6, 0, 0D6 and 1. If you remember, this is what we had seen here, isn't it? This is what we had seen here. So that matrix we have written, and what we do is we basically try to write it in this format. We try to write it as a multiplication of 2 4x4 matrix. One is this matrix, which composes of a 3x3 identity matrix, followed with 0D6 that we have here, then 0, 1, and we multiply it with the second matrix, which is 0R6, which is again a 3x3 matrix, 0, 0, 1. Now if you multiply this, see, if you are going to multiply this, so 0R6 multiplied with the identity matrix, any matrix multiplied with the identity matrix will give the same matrix. So if you multiply these 0R6 with identity matrix, we will get 0R6. That is what we are having here. So if you multiply 0R6 with identity matrix, we will get 0R6. 0 multiplied with any 0D6 will give me a 0 only. So that is the second value, that is 0 here. Now the second one, 0, 1, will basically take the same 0D6, 1 and it will place it here. So the multiplication of these two matrices is basically giving me this 0T6. Now you can note here that in this particular matrix, this is an identity matrix, this is 0, this is 1, only this portion is there, which is actually a position 1. Whereas in this matrix, the position part is 0. Rest, only what remains is orientation. So what we have done by this decoupling is, we have decoupled a single 4x4 matrix into 2 parts. One is a transformation matrix, so let me write that. So this is homogeneous transformation matrix for position. And this is the homogeneous transformation matrix for orientation. And that is what how we have decoupled it. Now there is a short form of writing this. We write it by writing the first 4 by 4 matrix as 0 capital D6 and 0 capital R6. Don't confuse it with this one. This is just a small notation. So this is the two matrix that we are multiplying. We will get the single matrix. So if we are able to divide it like this, we will be able to get it. Now generally, if I am going to, write what is going to be generally, I can say that 0T6, or the transformation of the 6th frame with the base frame of a 6 degree of freedom robotic manipulator, I can write it as basically 0T1, which is trying to connect the first frame with the 0th base frame, isn't it? It's trying to connect the frame 1 with the base frame. And the base frame is basically operated by the variable or the joint variable q1. So 0T1 is basically because of q1. So it is dependent of the value q1. And the next that we multiply with it is 1T2. And then we multiply it with 2T3. So what is this 2T3? It is 3 with respect to frame 2. Okay. Similarly, we multiply it with 3T4, 4T5, finally 5T6. Now as I have written that, the first is dependent on q1, the second is going to be dependent on q2, third is going to be dependent on q3, the fourth one is going to be dependent on q4, q5 will decide the fifth one, and the last one is q6. So each of these transformation matrix is made up of only this. Once you multiply all of them, the equation that we get is very big. For example, let's take a very previous example. So suppose here A1, A2, A3 are there. You can see A1 is cos theta 1. Let me take so A1 is cos theta 1, sin theta 1. Here also minus sin theta 1, c theta 1. And this is L1. This is not a joint variable. This is L1 is a link length. So L1 is already known by the structure of the robot. Now here, as you can see, this whole equation is based on theta 1. That's why you have all 1, 1, 1. Similarly, A2 is based on all theta 2. So it's all 2, 2, 2, 2. Similarly, A3 is based on all theta 3. Now when you multiply all of them together, the big equation that you get is something like this. Now this big equation that you are having here, from here it is difficult to find theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, L1, L2, L3. Even if L1, L2, L3 is known, it is slightly difficult. So, but still, here it is a 3 by 3 it's a 3 joint robot, so it's not a difficult task. Just imagine how much difficult it will be for a problem which has 6 degrees of freedom. The equation will be very, very big, and it is very difficult to find out the value of theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, and suppose we are having a wrist with theta 4, theta 5, theta 6. Just imagine this equation, this final equation, to be so huge that each equation will have many components. So what happens is that the equation becomes very, very complicated. Now, so when I am talking about here each individual one is very, very small. But when they all multiply together, it becomes a very complex equation. Now, what we do in decoupling is we imagine like this, that okay, the first three basically decide what is going to be the arm. Okay, so if you take a 6 degree of freedom robot, the first three will be for the hip, shoulder, elbow. Okay, so this is basically going to be the arm. Okay, and the next three is going to decide about the wrist. So the arm and the wrist together give me the transformation matrix, where the arm portion gives me the position, and the wrist portion gives me the orientation. So that's why I said that when we decouple the inverse kinematic problems into two sub-problems. One is an inverse position kinematics, where we try to solve only this matrix to get the equation of the position, and with that we try to calculate q1, q2, q3, and similarly with this matrix, the orientation matrix, we try to calculate q4, q5, q6. There is a better way to write this, so let me write that, or I can write that 0t6 can be written as, now if I multiply these three, you can see that 0, 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3 will basically give me, for the case of arm, 0t3 for the case of arm. For the case of wrist, I will get a multiplication of 3t6. Why? Because it starts from 3 and it ends at 6. Here it starts from 0, it ends at 3. So you had 0t3, here you had 0t6. So that is what we divide this into. Now this, I can, I have a small problem here. This problem is that it's okay for a Cartesian robot. For a Cartesian robot, if with the help of three joint in the arms, you decide the position. But you just don't decide only the position. You also decide what is going to be the orientation if it's not a Cartesian robot. That means that if it's a Cartesian robot, the first three multiplication, the multiplication of these three elements will give me as a matrix exactly like this. It will give me a matrix exactly like this. Okay, it will give me a matrix exactly like this. And the next wrist will give me something exactly like this, because we know that wrist is not for positioning, it is for orientation. But if the arm is not going to be Cartesian, we have seen that it will not just, the first three joints of the arm, they will not just give me the position, but they will give me some random orientation. So I can say that generally, so that's why I said generally, we will have, because of this first, we will have some random orientation 0r3 with the position 0d3, and with the wrist we will have the same thing, because there is no position in wrist, so the wrist only gives orientation. So I will write this as 3r6. Let me write it properly. So I will get it multiplied with 3r6 0 0 1. So as you can see, the orientation part by the wrist is taken care of, but if the arm is not Cartesian, we will get a matrix like this and not a matrix like this. Why? Because if it's a cylindrical one, you have already seen in the previous chapter that the cylindrical one will have an orientation after just three joint movements. Similarly, spherical robot, similarly articulated arm or SCARA arm, So other than Cartesian, we will have some random. Now how do we take care of that problem? For taking care of that problem, we can directly say that we will be able to find out, or we will be able to divide this into this particular, in this particular two matrix like this. We will be able to do it if I am able to correctly find out 0R3 and compensate for it in 0 in 3R6. That means I will say that, let me move it slightly down. Okay, this is the last. So we will find, so we find 0R3 for the arm. Okay, so what we do, we find 0R3 for the arm because we know the arm. So if it's a cylindrical arm, we can find 0R3. We have already done that in the previous module. If we have a spherical arm, we can find out the orientation portion of it. So generally, if we know that, okay, this is a spherical arm, we can find out the 0R3 of the arm. So once we know the 0R3 of the arm, the question is how do we find 3R6? Because that's how we can decouple into this equation, isn't it? So 0D3 is not a big problem because 0D3 will be directly 0D6. What remains is that this I have to, this 0R6 I have to split up into 0R3 and 3R6. 0D6 will be same as 0D3 because we know that the wrist will have no position. Its position is decided by the arm. So the position part in the wrist will be 0. So 0D3 I can directly say it's 0D6. Remember, this matrix is given to us. And from this given matrix, we are trying to form this decoupled matrix. So forming this decoupled matrix, what we do is we find 0R3 for the arm, and then what we do is we follow the equation for finding 3Rx. So you can see, so let me write, we find and we know that 0R6 is basically a multiplication of 0R3 with 3R6. Therefore, I can find out 3R6. I can find out 3R6 by writing, I can take 0R3 in the other side, or I can multiply both these equations, left and I can multiply the left and right side of this equation with 0R3 inverse. So that's what I do. So I multiply 0R3 inverse with 0R6. So automatically, according to this equation, I will get 3R6. But what is the inverse of 0R3? We have already seen that 0R3, or the orientation matrix, if we try to take the inverse, it is same as a transpose. We have already seen in the property of the homogeneous transformation matrix that if we try to take the inverse of the transformation matrix, we can take the inverse of the rotation part by taking the transpose of it. So basically it becomes 0R3 transpose multiplied with 0R6. So see what I have done here. What I have done is I have been given this equation. Okay, 0T6 I have been given, in which 0R6 is already known, 0D6 is already known. The structure of the robot is told to me that it's a spherical arm with a spherical wrist, or it's an articulated arm with a spherical wrist, whatever is the case. So when the arm data is given of what is the arm, with that I am able to find out 0R3. When I am able to find out 0R3, Then using this particular formula, I am able to find out R36. So 0R3 is found out, 3R6 is found out, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0 is there. The only thing that is left is 0D3. So that is given by, so, so that is given by, so here let me write one more thing, that this is, let me take a different color. This is orientation, wrist orientation, wrist orientation. And the next page I will write for wrist position, I use the equation that's 0D3, that is the position of the wrist, that will be same as 0D6, sorry, 0D6. So that's how we have, very successfully decoupled this one equation into two separate equations. Okay, here for the case of a Cartesian robot, this is replaced by this. So generally this will be the equation. So let me write that. So I will write, so basically I can write this as, in kinematic decoupling, we take the given 4x4 matrix and decouple it into these. Next we will look at how do we do it and what are the steps that we need to follow.